Ever wonder why some wives' feelings for their husbands change over time? It's often down to practical stuff, really. Curious why some wives feel distant from their husbands after years of marriage? It's not always the huge blow-ups. Sometimes it's the little things that add up. We're exploring those subtle shifts that can make a big difference. If you're wondering what's changed or want to understand your partner better, stick around. You might just change how you think about love, growing older, and marriage. 1. Feeling overwhelmed by emotions. Women often find themselves in the role of the family's emotional caretaker. They're the glue that holds everyone together, planning events, remembering birthdays and anniversaries, and often stepping up as the primary caregiver when someone's sick. It's a lot of work, and over time, it can become overwhelming. That feeling of carrying the whole family on my shoulders is a common one for women who feel their partners aren't pulling their weight. It leads to loneliness and a sense of not being truly seen or supported. When there's a lack of emotional and practical sharing in a marriage, women can easily burn out, and their feelings for their partners can suffer as a result. The emotional toll is significant. It's the feeling of not having support for all the invisible work they do, a major contributor to feeling disconnected. It's a frustrating feeling of carrying the burden without getting the recognition or appreciation they deserve. It's like constantly juggling a million things, always putting everyone else's needs first, and then realizing you've neglected your own well-being and happiness in the process. It's exhausting, and it can leave you feeling resentful and undervalued. It's important to remember that sharing responsibilities and openly communicating needs are crucial for a healthy and happy relationship. 2. Meaningful miscommunication. In the early days of marriage, conversations are exciting and full of connection. That's the glue that holds everything together. But as time goes on, those chats can get a little blah. They become routine, lacking depth and real meaning. When conversations revolve solely around work, kids, and household chores, without any space for sharing feelings, dreams, and personal aspirations, a wife can start to feel incredibly lonely, even though she's in a relationship. The emotional side of things is really important here. Women need that emotional connection to feel loved and valued. They crave meaningful conversations, little gestures of care, not just about the practical stuff, but about their inner worlds, their hopes, their fears, their personal dreams. When that's missing, they feel overlooked, undervalued, and like their inner life isn't important to their partner. It's not about grand gestures, it's about the small, everyday moments of connection that show you truly see and appreciate them for who they are, beyond their roles as wife and mother. It's about making space for those vulnerable, heartfelt conversations that build intimacy and strengthen the bond. 3. Never-ending household chores. Whether you're retired or still working, a lion's share of housework usually falls on women's shoulders. Taking care of the family, cooking, cleaning, and managing the household often becomes the wife's sole responsibility. This leads to that constant feeling of never getting a break, a relentless exhaustion, both mentally and physically. It's not necessarily that the husband means to hurt, but when a woman feels like the housework is always hers, without any real help or partnership, that feeling builds up into resentment. It's a slow burn. The emotional toll is huge. That constant tiredness and lack of shared responsibility makes a woman feel like she's just the family's servant, impacting not only her physical health, but also her self-worth. She feels overlooked, undervalued, and maybe even invisible to her husband. It's a tough spot to be in, feeling like your contributions are constantly taken for granted, and that your needs and feelings are secondary to everyone else's. It's not about demanding perfection, it's about feeling seen, appreciated, and like a true partner, not just a housekeeper. 4. She's growing, but her husband isn't. As women age, many find themselves wanting to grow, explore new things, learn, and expand their horizons. It's a natural part of life, a desire to keep evolving and discovering. But if their husbands aren't on board with this journey of self-discovery, it can create a real sense of being held back, a feeling of being stifled. It's not about rebellion, it's about a fundamental shift in their own personal growth. The woman might feel like she's losing that deep connection with her partner because he's not changing, not growing alongside her. It's a subtle shift, but a significant one. Imagine this. She's taking a pottery class, learning a new language, volunteering at a local animal shelter, actively engaging with life and expanding her world. Meanwhile, he's stuck in his routine, happy with the status quo. That's where the emotional disconnect starts to creep in. It's not a dramatic falling out, but a slow drift apart. It's like they're living parallel lives, inhabiting separate worlds, with less and less common ground to share. The shared experiences, the inside jokes, the mutual understanding, these things start to fade as their paths diverge. It's not necessarily a conscious decision, but a natural consequence of one person evolving while the other remains static. It's a quiet sadness, a feeling of growing apart despite still being together. And that's where the real challenge lies, bridging that gap and finding ways to reconnect on a deeper, more evolved level. Number 5. Losing your body and soul. When a woman feels emotionally and physically neglected, it's easy for her to feel like the love is fading. It's not just about actions. She needs to feel truly seen and understood on an emotional level. When that feeling of being cherished, desired, and deeply loved starts to disappear, she'll naturally pull back, and the connection with her husband will weaken. The emotional details are crucial here. This lack of physical and emotional intimacy makes her feel abandoned, like she's no longer special. That spark diminishes, and the love she feels just isn't strong enough to keep the relationship thriving. This shift in how she experiences her husband's love can lead to a withdrawal, both emotionally and physically. It's like a slow leak in a balloon. The air, love, and connection gradually escapes until it's almost gone. She might start to question the relationship, wondering if he even notices or cares anymore. This isn't about blame. It's about understanding the vital role physical and emotional intimacy plays in a woman's feeling loved and secure in a marriage. It's about recognizing the subtle shifts in her feelings and addressing them before the distance becomes insurmountable. 6. Retirement. What's it all about? Retirement is often seen as a time for relaxation and enjoying life together, but it's not always smooth sailing for every couple. For some, retirement can actually strain a marriage. One of the biggest changes is the husband's daily routine. He might not have plans for his free time, leading to feelings of aimlessness and putting extra pressure on his wife to entertain him. While she might enjoy having more time for herself, he might struggle to adjust. Without preparation, this transition can cause tension. Women often find themselves becoming the primary caregiver for their retired husbands, which can feel restrictive and limit personal freedom. They might miss going out, socializing, or even working. Before retirement, couples have separate schedules, jobs, and hobbies. Now, constantly being together can feel cramped. A wife might want time for her own interests, but if her husband lacks plans and doesn't participate, she might feel trapped. Retirement is often a time for women to pursue personal freedom, but a husband who's overly dependent can make that impossible. This can lead to feeling like you're living for someone else, not yourself, impacting marital satisfaction. Retirement can also create a loss of purpose for men. Without clear goals, a husband might feel lost and insecure, relying heavily on his wife for emotional and mental support. This can leave her feeling stressed, overwhelmed, and resentful. These feelings change her perspective on her husband and their relationship. Lack of personal space and privacy can strain a marriage. Constant togetherness can lead to arguments over small things, from weekend plans to what to do all day. Without open communication about needs and desires, tensions build, leading to exhaustion. Women might feel frustrated, lacking privacy and freedom to pursue their interests. This can damage the emotional connection and even lead to feelings of distance. 7. Feeling unheard and unappreciated. In a long-term marriage, one of the most painful feelings a woman can experience is feeling unheard and unappreciated. This is a significant factor that can gradually diminish the emotional connection and love in a relationship. Let's delve deeper into the reasons and impacts of this issue. Lack of proactive listening. Early in a marriage, conversations are usually vibrant and full of emotion. Spouses share thoughts, feelings, dreams, and life's challenges. However, over time, these conversations can become dull, repetitive, or even disappear entirely. This is when many wives feel they're no longer truly heard and understood. For women, it's not just about being listened to, but about feeling actively cared for and engaged with. When a husband stops actively listening to his wife's thoughts and feelings, she feels overlooked and undervalued. It's like her words are worthless, as if she's talking to herself without any response or care from her partner. Feeling forgotten. A major reason women feel unappreciated is when they dedicate significant time and effort to family care, but receive no acknowledgement or recognition from their husbands. After years of caring for husband and children, a wife might feel invisible, her efforts unnoticed. For women, nurturing is instinctive, but they also need to feel valued and respected. Without appreciation, they might feel frustrated and even insecure. This significantly contributes to decreased affection and emotional withdrawal. Insufficient response. When a woman shares her thoughts, feelings, or worries, she needs a response from her husband. It doesn't have to be advice, just listening, empathy, and shared understanding. However, a lack of meaningful response or engagement makes her feel like she's talking to a wall. This lack of response can make a woman feel forgotten, unimportant, and insignificant. The absence of emotional support when needed leads to loneliness and growing distance from her husband. Feeling the imbalance. When women feel unheard and unappreciated, they sense an imbalance in the relationship. It might stem from the husband not truly seeing her as an equal partner, but merely a support system. This inequality breeds resentment, making her feel undervalued and voiceless. Women want not only love but respect and equal partnership. Feeling undervalued leads to exhaustion and a reluctance to contribute further to the relationship, causing emotional and even physical withdrawal. Losing yourself. In some cases, when a wife feels unheard and unappreciated, she loses her sense of self. She feels she only exists to serve her husband and family, neglecting her own needs. This diminishes her self-esteem and confidence. Women need to feel valuable, not just as wives and mothers, but as individuals with their own dreams and aspirations. Losing oneself leads to a loss of passion and enthusiasm, affecting the connection with her husband. Lack of care. Women need care, not just materially, but emotionally. They need to know their husband loves, cares for, and values them. Without this, love fades, and the relationship grows cold. Feeling unloved and uncared for leads to loneliness within the relationship. It can make the relationship feel worthless, causing emotional distance and even complete withdrawal. 8. Knowing life's short, she wanted more. As we women enter middle age and beyond, our perspectives on life undergo a profound shift. It's not just about physical changes, it's a complete re-evaluation of life, relationships, and especially marriage. The realization that life is finite, that time is slipping away, can be a powerful factor in a wife feeling distant and gradually withdrawing from her husband after many years together. Let's explore this in more detail. The ticking clock. As we age, the finite nature of time becomes increasingly apparent. Witnessing the loss of friends and family, attending more funerals, these events force us to reflect. Have I lived fully? Am I happy with what I have? For women, this often translates to a feeling that life is speeding by, and we don't want to waste any more time in an unfulfilling relationship. The fleeting nature of life prompts the question, is this relationship still what I want? If marriage feels unsatisfying or stagnant, we might seek something new or different. Honest self-assessment. With age comes the realization that time isn't something we can get back. We can't rewind and redo things. This urgency fuels a search for meaning and personal fulfillment. It doesn't mean we've stopped loving our husbands. It's about recognizing that life isn't just about family obligations anymore. It's about doing something for ourselves. We might want to try new things, have different experiences, or simply crave more freedom. Regret might creep in if we realize we've sacrificed personal goals for family. After years of prioritizing husband and children, we might feel we've missed opportunities for self-discovery. With time running out, we question whether to continue in an unfulfilling life. Feeling confined, yearning for exploration. Older women often have a strong desire for personal growth, broader horizons, and new opportunities. This could involve travel, learning new skills, or pursuing activities previously unavailable. But if our husbands aren't supportive of these changes or share these desires, we might feel trapped within the relationship. We want rich, full lives, and feeling stifled or unsupported in pursuing our passions is frustrating. We want to feel independent, empowered to make our own choices and follow our dreams. Marriage as a barrier. If a woman feels unsupported in her personal growth, the relationship can become a barrier to her freedom. She might feel held back from pursuing her dreams and ambitions, leading to resentment and a desire for change. It's not that marriage feels like a partnership anymore, but a cage. Each day feels like living someone else's life, not her own. This can lead to leaving, not because of a lack of love, but a desire for personal freedom and happiness. Seeking appreciation and value. As women age, we reassess our relationships, especially marriage. If we feel unappreciated, unloved, or undervalued, we might feel a need for change. This could mean seeking other relationships or simply separating to find personal fulfillment. We deserve to feel cherished and loved after years of dedication to family. When that's missing, disappointment sets in, and we seek a happier, more fulfilling life, rather than continuing in an unsupportive, unacknowledged relationship. Hey, so we've talked about how even tiny things can make a big difference in a long-term relationship, right? The awesome news is, it's never too late to turn things around. Love isn't gone, it just needs a little TLC. Husbands, when's the last time you really listened? Wives, how can you reconnect? Relationships are all about understanding, respect, and those little things that show you care. Let's keep chatting. Your relationship is worth it.